Welcome to your Barbados Today evening news update for Monday, January 28th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Yet another call for residents to stop indiscriminate burning. This as the Barbados Fire Service records a marked increase in the number of fires for the first 25 days of the year. The island's firefighters have responded to 134 fires so far when compared to 70 for the same period last year. Firefighter Andre Taylor of the BFS Research and Planning Unit says grass and rubbish fires were the major bugbear, with 105 recorded in the first 25 days alone.
Also, for the first 25 days of the year, we've responded to 6 house fires compared to 5 for the same period last year. Now, all of the parishes have recorded grass fires so far for the year, with Christchurch leading with 15, St. Lucie 12, St. Philip 11, and the rest of parishes have recorded at least 6 or less grass fires. We want to encourage persons to desist from the indiscriminate burning. Sometimes when our officers go to the scene, persons will say to them, okay, well, we're trying to get rid of rubbish and the pests and stuff like that. But between 2015 and 2016, we actually had 3 to 4 houses being damaged due to persons actually lighting rubbish and grass. And only last year, a house was lost in St. Lucie due to some person burning rubbish which got out of control.
Officer Taylor was speaking to reporters after he and other officers, including his colleague Jason Collins, kicked off the annual Student Awareness and Fire Education, or SAFE program, at the St. Ambrose Primary School this morning. Firefighter Collins says the program, which started back in September 2007, aims to educate nursery and primary school students about fire safety.
What they should do, whether it be at home, whether it be at school, wherever they might be. I like to always target the kids because I believe that children do remember things a lot more than adults. In a situation where there's an emergency, adults may tend to panic. Children will remember the right things to do, and they would always be able to. They always say a child shall lead them, so a child would always guide you accordingly.
The United Progressive Party is not impressed with government's plans to arrest the gun violence plaguing the country. In fact, UPP leader Lynette Eastman believes some parts of the plan announced by government on Friday was nothing more than a public relation exercise. She gave her views on the issue during a press conference at the Courtyard Marriott Hotel this morning.
We do not believe that the measures go far enough to get to the root of the issue, especially the issue with guns. As a friend of mine said to me, he said, you don't get a mop and bucket to fix a leak. So, to have additional soldiers to deal with a situation that currently exists does not stop the rot at the core. And, that's the problem we have. Having soldiers and police officers walk through a district, that's optics, it's PR. We really want to get to the root of the issue.
Eastman also says the time has come for CARICOM to have an action plan on crime, as it was now a regional problem.
I would like to suggest that at the CARICOM level, that this is a CARICOM problem. And it is time that a CARICOM solution is found. And therefore I'm calling on the Barbados government and any other government that can hear me within CARICOM to say to them that it is time that CARICOM puts in place an action plan. And that politicians do not just turn up at funerals when our young people are dead. CARICOM has a number of studies done on crime and violence in the region. I'm not asking them to do another study because as far as I'm concerned, there should be a moratorium on studies in the Caribbean region. There's no region in the world more studied than the Caribbean. So we don't need to study anymore. We need to have an action plan where we start protecting our people from violence.
Government is looking at moving utility cables underground as well as negotiating reduced insurance plans for homeowners. That's according to Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Marsha Cardle, who says these were among 5 initiatives that government was pursuing as part of measures to help Barbados increase its resilience towards climate change and natural disasters. She made the disclosure as she addressed a resilience, urban rehabilitation and sustainability roundtable hosted by the Inter-American Development Bank at its Welch's Christchurch headquarters this morning.
A commitment from the IDB to work with Barbados to explore options for reducing the cost of insurance for households and for businesses. The people who are on the front lines of this climate fight are the ones who are least able to finance their own resilience. And we, as a government, have to make the commitment to supporting them in this effort.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from our regional neighbors, CARICOM leaders are optimistic that the United Nations will assist in establishing the roadmap towards peace and security for Venezuela. The optimism came following a meeting in Washington on Monday with the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. CARICOM Chairman and St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris led the delegation that included his Trinidad and Tobago counterpart Dr. Keith Rowley and Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley to the talks on the possibility of the UN intervening in the ongoing political crisis in the South American country. According to a statement issued by the Office of the Prime Minister in Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Rowley expressed hope that in the not-too-distant future there will be significant improvement and a diminishing of tensions in Venezuela. On the international scene, the U.S. economy was expected to lose billions of dollars as a result of government's partial shutdown over President Donald Trump's demand for funding for his border wall. More in this Reuters television report.
$3 billion. That's how much the partial government shutdown will cost the U.S. economy, according to congressional budget watchers, as some 800,000 federal employees on Monday got back to work, many for the first time in 35 days. Those workers caught in the crossfire between President Trump, who demanded $5.7 billion for a border wall with Mexico, and Democrats led by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who refused to go along. The Congressional Budget Office said the U.S. economy lost $11 billion overall during the 5-week period, but that $8 billion is expected to be recovered as the government reopens and federal workers receive back pay. But the fight is far from over.
My fellow Americans.
While Trump on Friday announced a deal to temporarily reopen government, he has vowed to shut it down again if an acceptable border agreement isn't reached by February 15th. Or invoke emergency powers to build the wall.
It's an emergency. It's a humanitarian emergency.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.pb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.